And how
What's
are
up,
you?
buddy? I'm really well. It's great to see you again. How's the day?
You know what? It's been awesome. I'm in some pretty good spirits, like considering how early I woke up. But I think the reality is that you look at Chris, Jack, and Matt, and I don't know if they're up at like 2:45 in the morning or 2:30 or whatever, but they're so bright and cheerful on their
Yeah.
morning show that I feel like I got a bit of a dose of that, thinking like, how the hell did these guys do it? You know what I mean?
You got to ask Jack that because she wakes up to get her kids to a day home only to get to the station after that. So, yeah, I think she's waking up a little bit earlier than Matt and Chris, and it shows a little bit too.
Yeah, well, she's the best. She's such a great mom, and yeah, it's pretty wild to be on this journey now. Obviously, promoting the record in this way, but I'm also very grateful that from coast to coast, there are so many people that have a different song on this particular record that they're loving, or can't believe that I recorded, or have all these different feelings going on. So it's great to kind of be back in the saddle, promoting it in a big national way. Well, I'm here to tell you that what we have here in Alberta is really, it's so great in terms of how much country music we have access to. But because there isn't a lot of country music that actually heads out to Prince Edward Island, I think that whole saying of the grade 7 social studies, supply and demand, because the supply is so low, the demand actually is so high. So I think people are ready to let loose. And that's why it's really great to have so many different pockets and great fan bases across Canada. There's nothing like what I've got here, obviously, at home in Edmonton, but I am loving the chance to get back out on the bus or to get back on a plane again and bring my brand of country music right across the country.
I believe it. I love that. And I'm sure you've told the story, and our Kissin' Country listeners are going to be pumped to know with the Compass Project. Where did that idea come from? Because we're just waiting for more and more music to come through, and the fact that we're kicking it all off with the South version of the album. Tell us a little bit about where that idea processed.
You know what? The Compass Project is without question the biggest undertaking that I've ever taken on. And it's a very ambitious project that really talks about my internal compass and all of the different directions that my music can go and travel down, all of the different choices that I've made over the course of the last decade, and understanding that I love my roots out here in the West. I really do. I always have, I always will. But I never knew exactly how to pay tribute to that. And I also love, the East Coast. I love the ocean. I love spending time out in the Maritimes. I love the salt in the air. I love the crashing of the waves. I love the singers and the songwriters, especially here in Canada. So how do I pay tribute to that? And then also, oh my God, it's been 10 years since I got my record deal. And I have all of these songs that, oh my God, I can have a greatest hits album. So why don't I do this, but do it in a different way? That's like an entire live record of these versions of songs like Airwaves and She Drives Me Crazy and Make a Life Not a Living. So all of a sudden, I've got an opportunity to pay tribute to each different side of my life, the songwriting side, the Western way of life, how much I love to entertain and perform. And then, of course, my ode to Nashville, which is your radio hit-driven country. So I decided to make 4 albums, North, East, South, and West, that really pay tribute to all of those sides.
Now, when you think about a compass, you obviously have so many things going on, and I know how much you love your hometown and being in Alberta, but also you have so many things that are pulling you away from your family. Is that kind of where the compass idea came through, where you're trying to figure out directions, and in a way, every direction is kind of correct in your life?
It's very interesting that you say that, and you say that at the very end, where every direction really could be correct. It could be the right path to travel down. But over the last couple of years, I felt like my compass was just spinning almost even out of control. But if I take a deep breath and I really try to center myself and come back to my heart center, I understand the things in life that really matter to me the most. That's my family. That's my love for country music. That's my friends. That's travel and experience. That's how much I love Canada. So if I really think about the core things in my life that bring me the most joy, I was able to actually make albums that speak to that. I was able to record and write songs that speak to that. So it's a very special record. It's an ambitious project. But if people really want to get a healthy dose of my brand of country music, I'm giving it everything I got.
I mean, you say you've had 10 years in this business, and I know you've been playing shows way longer before that, but when you think about where you are today and where it all started 10 years ago, I mean, is there any way that you would be able to predict anything remotely close to where you are right now?
Absolutely not. There's no way. If anybody would have, if you walked into at the carnival and you have somebody who's going to read your fortune, or have somebody that's going to look in a crystal ball, and someone would have told me that this is exactly how the next 10 years are going to play out, I wouldn't have believed it, because I wouldn't have thought that I would have had 1/10 the opportunities, or 1/10 the success, or 1/10 of the memories made. I feel like I lived 10 lifetimes in these last 10 years, and I'm very proud of that. And I actually have to tip my hat to everybody at Kissin' Country. I remember going in to see Chris in the morning show 10 years ago, and Jack and Matt, and I brought in champagne to celebrate my very first national release. And I'm not sure if they've ever told you this story, but my wife and I, we popped champagne at 5:30 in the morning with champagne and orange juice to celebrate a song that I wrote called It All Started With a Song. And that was the first ever release to Kissin' Country and national radio. And we accidentally spilled champagne in the control room, and Kissin' Country went dark. And we had dead air for like 4 minutes, which is like, that's devastating in the radio business. They had to go to what I believe was called, I don't know if it was Joe FM or Chuck or something like that, to which was 95 or 96.3. I don't know. It would have been Joe then.
It would have been Joe.
Yeah, it would have been Joe. And so we had to go into that studio and continue the interview because we killed Kissin' Country for 5 minutes on the air. And I thought I was never going to get my music played on Kissin' ever again. But Kissin's been very good to me. I really started off my career 10 years ago. And I thought, well, it's only going to get better from here.
Well, the Kissin' Country listeners, they love you too. And the fact that we just get more and more tunes from you that continue to just be popped through the airwaves. When you were a kid, do you remember how you used to remember north, east, south, and west? Did you have like a specific term that you were able to figure out the compass? We're talking about that here today because it's kind of I think I'm from Saskatchewan originally, and I think we might have a different one. It was never eat soggy wieners. Is that the one that you had?
Well, everyone in my family said never eat shredded wheat. And shredded for me, wheat, I liked never eat soggy wieners way better. It was way funnier. So exactly. I would say never eat soggy wieners. I loved that one. I really did. And I'm now actually teaching my kids, because we have this farm, we bought into the family farm operation even out by St. Paul, that it's very important to learn northeast, southwest, because if you're trying to give directions to, my kids or my little cousins or my, anyone in my family, and you say, go to the spruce tree and go left. Well, if you're coming from the north and then you go left, that's actually east.
Going the wrong way.
If you're coming from the south and you go left, that's actually west. So you have to learn north, east, south, west if you're actually going to grow up on the farm. And I don't know how some of these family members of mine ever can ever really live and exist not understanding north, east, south, and west, the true directions, even in the city today.
Yeah. And also saying wieners, it never gets less funny from when you're 12 to when you're 30. So I mean, it's always there.
Oh, there are so many funny words out there, and wieners is at the top of the list. So yes, never eat soggy wieners.
Well, it's always about experience when it comes to playoffs and the dog days and everything. And I agree. I think Jackie has to be the starter there, and it's kind of cool to know that we've got two guys that can now stop the puck, which is kind of what we've been missing for 10 years in a way?
We've been missing it for a long time. And I was a huge Mike Smith fan, also a big Cam Talbot fan. Cam Talbot had a great season in 2017. But the reality is that in the playoffs, anybody at any given time can get hot. Don't get me wrong. Carey Price took the Canadiens to the Cup final a couple of years ago. Vasilevsky is amazing. But I would have never thought that Darcy Kemper or even Francois or Francois or whatever his name is, was going to do as well as they did for Colorado. So everybody has to play like an extraordinary team. Of course, that's cliche, but I never heard of Jordan Binnington in 2019. Never heard of him. I never heard of, Antti Niemi in 2012 or 13. I never heard of these guys. I never heard of Corey Crawford when he won his very first cup. So at any given time, any of these guys can and will get hot. And so I'm really thinking that the Edmonton Oilers, if our goalies get hot, They're going to have that energy. A couple big saves. Connor McDavid's going to take it down, score a beauty. 5 seconds later, we're in for a hell of a playoff run. And I've already get this, I told my agent, don't book me any shows in June. Well, what do you mean? Why not? It says, because I'm watching, if the Oilers make it to the Cup final, I don't want to pull an Eric Church and have to cancel shows. So just don't book me anything.
So does that mean that we got the Brett Kissel stamp of approval that we might be hosting a cup this year? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, absolutely. And one of these days I'm going to be right. Every October I said, we're going to win the cup this year. And I just hope I'm not like one of those crazy Leafs fans who've been saying it since 1967.
Yeah, we never want to be like the Leafs fans, my man. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I know you got a very busy day. It's always great to catch up with you, and enjoy it. We're looking forward to more tunes coming out. We're looking forward to the next album, and more importantly, getting you back up on stage around the Edmonton circles.
I can't wait. Thanks, buddy. It's great to chat with you too.
Awesome, man. You take care, okay?
Yeah, see you, dude. Bye.